Hi, and welcome back to another Creator Collab. I'm really excited about this topic, and you're going to get many perspectives on what it feels like to be autistic.
Hello, I am so grateful to be back and part of the Creator Collabs for Jenny's channel. I am super excited. So, what does autism feel like? Well, for me, autism can feel like there are days where sensory input is just amazing. The sounds are just absolutely amazing, and they make my heart just dance and sing, and they make me stim and just feel so much joy. But there are days where it can feel overwhelming, and that's mainly because of the outside world, and I guess you could say the lack of understanding for those who are on the autism spectrum. And it can feel isolating. It can feel just kind of tough because the world just doesn't understand our world, and it can be hard for neurotypicals to step into the autistic person's world, and it can be hard there. But it's not to say that it's not beautiful in other areas. So that's what autism feels like to me. It's a balance of beauty and it's a balance of toughness, but I've learned to embrace it and be okay with that.
Hi everyone, my name is Tom, and this is what autism feels like to me. 'Twas on a night without a moon, the sky was thick with cloud, while on I wandered through the gloom within that darkling shroud. The doctor said that I'm autistic, no doubt befogged his mind. No chance that I'm allistic, for that would be too kind. That's why I'm often logical to the point of seeming rude, a trait that is so typical of those who are thus construed. That's also why I'm sensitive to noises and to light, and why I'm so inquisitive that I can seem not very bright. At times I'm called retarded, at others really smart. In any case, I'm most regarded as best kept far apart. I'm slow to answer questions, to prepare a true reply. That's why I hear suggestions that I'm conjuring a lie, and eye contact's a bother, interfering with my thoughts. It's another reason others think honest I am not. Monotropism is a friend of mine, its focus clear and deep, but frequent are the troubled times when I forget to eat or drink or sleep. I'm poor at conversation, I don't know what to say. My style of elocution makes folk bid me go away. People judge my every mood based on my facial expression, then think I'm either crude or plotting some aggression. I regulate myself by writing poems and stories. These actions help me quell my many woes and worries. I live with constant burnout, my energy always low. And I do know without a doubt recovery's always slow. I have no friends, I'm all alone. No one wants me around. On top of that, I hate the phone. The anxiety wears me down. I hope the day may come when I shall find myself a friend with whom my masking now is done, and I'll need no more pretend. If you should see yourself in this, you might be autistic too. And that could maybe grant my wish to find a friend or two.
Well, today's assignment is to talk about how it feels to be autistic. You gave us kind of a whopper, didn't you, Jenny? Let me see what I can do here. If you ask me how it feels to be autistic, I would have to say it depends. If you ask me how it feels when I'm in a crowded environment, boisterous with a lot of activity, noise, and visual stimuli, it doesn't feel too good, and I wish I could turn it off. And I wish I could keep it off as I'm driving home through busy traffic with all the things zipping all around me and visual stimuli that is trying to grab my attention while I'm trying to watch the road. But then when I get home and I open the door and go inside, I want to turn it back on again, because in the right environment, being autistic feels just fine. It feels natural. You know, I was born autistic, and I don't know anything else. That's all I know is being autistic. So it feels like me. And it feels good in the right environment, the right conditions. With interruptions going on, it feels terrible. With no interruptions, I feel fine. With no transitions, especially big ones or sudden ones, I feel fine. When I'm talking with somebody who's not autistic, it doesn't feel too good, because I feel like I'm from a different planet than the other person. But when talking to another autistic person, it feels natural, and I enjoy it. So again, it depends. Now, it's really hard to answer this question completely in 2 minutes, but I tried to put my little part in, and I'm sure my friends are going to come up with a lot of great stuff. Tell you what, it feels good talking to all of you every time that I do, and I sure enjoyed it, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
I saw a video that mentioned a 70s song I remember hearing firsthand. Some of the lyrics were, "Feelings, whoa, whoa, feelings." The video criticized the song for saying next to nothing or being too vague. That's how I often feel about a question that asks about feelings, because I'm not very in touch with how I feel. That's because I learned this is something common for autistic people, while not exclusively being an autistic trait. Speaking of traits, for me, getting fixated on details is part of what autism feels like for me. That is, I might miss the forest because I'm focused on certain details of a tree. Or other times, I'm seeing a pattern such that I'm focusing on the forest so much that I don't see the trees or a tree, meaning I miss some detail or angle someone is trying to get me to see. This is one of the many aspects of my experiences as an autistic person, which is actually complicated by the fact that I'm also diagnosed with ADHD, the inattentive type. One other main experience I have is what may come across as processing things slowly, when it is more often the case that I'm having to filter out so much because of sensory overload. As a result, I often ask clarifying questions that may seem like I wasn't paying attention. This is just a small glimpse of what autism is like for me. I've shared more about it on my own channel, Adult Autism with William. This is also where you can collaborate with me on a variety of topics. So please stop by to learn more details about my series called Various Autistic Voices.
Hi everybody, I'm here to talk about how autism feels to me. I've got ADHD as well, so that kind of complicates things, because it's a bit of a paradox. You've got one working against the other. And it depends how I feel on any particular day, depending how regulated I am, what the circumstances are, what challenges I've got that day. I often feel I'm in a state of either inertia, where I just don't feel like I want to do anything. I've got no energy, or I'm in a state of like hypermania, like I've got to do everything all at once at the same time. That's probably the ADHD, and I'll get what I call confuddled. I'll forget what I was doing. And yeah, anyway, it's a struggle. I often feel that people get me wrong. That my intentions are always good, I would say, and people get the wrong end of the stick and think, that I'm being, selfish or whatever, and I'm really not. I'm just perhaps being blunt or saying what I think. And that's got me into a lot of bother in the past. And the strategy is to sort of isolate yourself. So I often feel quite lonely because people don't get me, and if I start to talk, they sort of drift away. So which is why it's great to connect with people on here. we may not have the same special interests, but what we do share is that sort of passion and energy and that joy we get from like just having a really deep discussion about something. It's just amazing. And you don't get that with most neurotypicals because they just think you're a bit weird. So autism feels, for me, it's a struggle. It's a daily struggle. My life just feels, it's difficult because other people have got like, they know what they're doing, whereas things take longer for me to process, to sort of grasp, and my functioning is just different, completely different. I can be brilliant and I can be useless at the same time. So it's a bit of a paradox. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I hope you're well. Thank you, Jenny, for assembling us for another collab video. So I'm going to talk very briefly about what it feels like to be autistic from my own autistic point of view. I've got a few notes to my side, so if I look off screen, I'm thinking about what I need to say because I'm autistic and I like to keep some sort of structure to this little video. So irritation at a noisy world full of lies. So as an autistic person, I feel like I need to navigate through a world that is unnecessarily noisy and unnecessarily full of lies and images and faith in the power of reputations. I just want to live a peaceful life, and I don't find that the world is very peaceful a lot of the time. Related to that, sensory sensitivities. My sensory sensitivities I don't think are as intense as some autistic people's. If you drop a cup and I'm not expecting it, I'm going to jolt and it's going to hurt my brain for a few seconds. Bright lights to an extent, but yes, for me, it's not so much of an issue. Joy in special interests. Taken me over 40 years to find out that autistic people tend to have special interests and they tend to be very intense, and that my own special interests bring me an intense level of joy. So being autistic is a good thing. And deeper meaning. So deeper meaning, when I have friends, that I'm extremely loyal to my friends. If I have values, which I do, then I really, really believe in them and I will stand by them, and I will not just remove them for the sake of expediency, for the sake of reputation. I will stand true as much as I can. And I think that's a good aspect of being autistic. I can only speak from my own autistic point of view, but I hope nonetheless that what I've said has been interesting and useful.
Hi, friends. Love this question, Jenny. What's autism? Thinking about Joanne Lindbergh in her book, Letters to My Weird Sisters. When you say the word autism to people, what they seem to think is you have told them that you have sat the normality exam and failed. This, my friends, is a toxic view. Though I can't speak for what is autism for everyone, I can tell you a little bit about me. We're all different, aren't we? But we have some similarities, which is so precious because that's what enables us to connect with each other. So first, I have a lot of empathy, contrary to the opinion of autistic people not having empathy. I have a lot of empathy. It is what provides my ability to do my vocation and my teaching, and I care deeply about people and I have deep relationships. I also have special interests like other autistic people. Right now, one of them is the experience of aging women with autism. I wonder why. Also, I love art and art journaling, and I use it to regulate my soul, my emotions, which are big, as is the case for so many of us. Also, I love reading the memoirs of other autistic people, not so much the books that tell you like how to do autism really well, but just what are people experiencing, just the raw stuff. Let's see, eye contact. No, I don't have problems with eye contact. Some of us don't. Finally, let me just say for a second, although I could go on and on, I have a daily routine. Do you? I have a lot of trouble when I can't keep my daily routine. I am rigid that way, which is common. And I don't appreciate being made to feel broken and subject to value judgments because I need a routine because the world is traumatizing to me. Lastly, I'll say that my mind is ever responding to stimuli, my senses, which is why I crave solace, peace, and nature. So that's my take on what autism is for me. Thanks as always, Jenny. You rock. Bye, everybody.
What does autism feel like to me is a great question because so much of autism is definitely based on our internal experiences. So I think for me, it feels like always being so in my own head that it can very much cause a lot of feelings of loneliness and isolation, and like nobody truly knows me. It feels like being rigid about things and always overthinking everything. It feels like constantly being misunderstood and feeling like there's no language to effectively communicate all the ideas and connections constantly running through my head. It feels like having sensory issues that make me feel cranky and feeling frequently self-conscious whenever I'm out in public. But it also has a lot of strengths that have gotten me to where I am today. It comes with a desire to see things through to the end, having special interests that bring me joy, and a way of seeing the world that is unique in a good way, in a way that most other people just can't. Autism feels like an inseparable part of me.
Here's what autism feels like to me. It feels like having to constantly be someone I am not just to appease other people. And it's exhausting. This is coming on the tail end of yesterday and how exhausted I feel from masking at work. And as a high masking woman, how it affects me the day after. It exhausts me. I'm socially exhausted. And to go to work and people ask, what's wrong with you? When you're just being and you realize the mask you had on has slipped and you're just sitting there with a flat effect and that's what they're seeing. And then to re-put my mask on and say I'm okay, that's what it feels like. It feels like trying to keep up the trying to keep up the act, trying to keep up being somebody I'm not, and not being able to be myself because otherwise people ask, what's wrong with you? And then coming home and being asked by my family, what's wrong with you? Because I have nothing left on my face to give when I walk in the door. And at that point, I'm just tired and they want to know what's wrong with me because they're seeing my flat effect. My flat effect really affects me. And what autism feels like to me is that I'm not very good at masking anyway. When my mask drops, people can see it even more. And I'm not consistent with my emotions or facial expressions and gestures, and that comes across to other people. And it means feeling like people always can tell something's different about me and something's off with me and that I'm not like the rest. One is not like the rest. What it feels like to be autistic is exhausting to me. That's my answer today. Ask me again in a week and I might have a different answer, but coming from the week that I just had, that's my answer. It feels exhausting. It feels like not being true to myself and feeling pressure to be somebody else in a world that's not like me for the most part. I hope that made sense. That's just how I'm feeling today. So that's what autism feels like to me, exhausting. I want to thank everybody that was a part of this Creator Collab. These could not be done without you joining in. And I really appreciate that. And if you appreciate it too, would you please give this video a like and maybe share to people who might need to hear more about this topic? And go down there and comment about who did you relate to. You can find their channel links down in the description, so go and check out their channels if you want to learn more about these creators. How does autism feel to you? We want to know. And thank you so much for checking out this Creator Collab. And if you want to watch another one, stick around. I'll put one right here. Bye.